Well, you know, you hear about efforts, you hear rhetoric along those lines quite frequently when President Obama was, of course, you know, his first real breakthrough was the speech that he gave at the 2004 Democratic National Convention, where, you know, he talked about there being, you know, there were no red states of America and blue states of America. There's one United States of America. And then, you know, he used some similar rhetoric during the 2008 presidential campaign. And John McCain also, you know, talked about wanting to heal these rifts and appealing to those on the other side. But, you know, as the campaign went on, we saw that actually the positions of the candidates became increasingly polarized. And by the end there, you know, there was very little of that sort of effort to reach across to the other side. Because the fact is that, you know, the electorate itself is very polarized. And so, you know, we have a very high degree of, you know, partisanship when it comes to voting. People tend to vote along party lines. There's not much crossover voting these days. And so as the campaign proceeds, the focus tends to become increasingly on, you know, energizing and mobilizing your own base. You know, because there's such a small sliver of undecided voters left in the middle. And it's actually very hard to even reach those people, you know, because they tend to actually be the least interested and least attentive segment of the public. So, and since the election, certainly we've seen more of that sort of back and forth, you know, about why can't we have more bipartisanship, and each side blaming the other for, you know, the lack of bipartisanship. But fundamentally, I think it's very difficult to have any kind of bipartisan cooperation these days because the differences between the parties are so great. There used to be a lot of members of Congress in the middle. You had moderate to conservative Democrats, you had moderate to liberal Republicans. There was a lot of overlap there, and therefore it was easy to find coalition partners from the other party. Now there's no overlap at all between the parties. And so to build a bipartisan coalition is very difficult because you have to, when you try to reach across the partisan divide, that divide is very, very wide. And it means that to bring in any significant number of members from the other party, you have to actually compromise your fundamental principles. And that's why I think we're seeing that just doesn't happen. There are a handful of members in the middle. And so, you know, you'll see some efforts to reach out to those few members, as we saw, you know, in the early days of the Obama administration, when they were able to win over, they had 3 Republican senators who voted for the stimulus bill, one of whom subsequently switched parties.